No, I heard a
Okay,
rumor
so
Jay Stone
Reddit.
is cooking
So
for
can I
Nuggets,
just talk
Georgia.
about the fact that I just didn't see that other dimple over there too? I
other
saw the
side.
photograph.
Yeah.
It's like I
You
was
need
like,
to borrow my glasses so you can see
no,
both
no,
of
no.
them?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Sharing
You
is
need
caring.
smile from this
Sharing
side
is
all the time. Be like,
awesome.
yeah.
All right, so you guys, we're just being little flies on the wall here. As Jay gives some Periscope one-on-one tips. So if you're out here in the Periscope land with us today, just listen, just watch and learn, because that's all we're doing now. Hey guys, let us know where you're from. You guys can take it away. We're just recording. We're not
Okay,
here.
so we're ready.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the major thing about Periscope. The difference with Periscope, of course, is it's live, right? You get the
Right.
live immediate interaction. That means the comments,
Hey, guys.
the back and forth. But I think the difference. A lot of people keep saying, "Well, what's the difference between that and YouTube?" Okay, it's live, right? And they're like, "But what's the difference?" I get it's all video, but it's live. And so I think that you get that it's live.
Right.
All right. So, but let me explain why that's a big deal. My Periscope administrator, shout out to Scope Scribe. She said, YouTube is a photograph, okay, of your life. Periscope is a window, right? Okay.
So you can see through it.
So you can
live.
see through it and you can actually see it. And I think it's actually a little bit more, it's a movie. You get to get in to see the behind the scenes. So again, I get on Periscope with a lot of imperfections under the, Vic cream, whatever, right? It gives a different level of transparency. So here's why it helps me as a business owner with the sale. The know, like, and trust factor. The speed of trust builds up so much faster on Periscope because they are able to strip away the facade much quicker. And so where I used to have to get people, follow me, then follow me some more, then get on my email list, then come to an event, then buy something. Now it's like, boom, here's the link on Periscope, buy, boom. My book pre-sales hit today. My very first book pre-sales came out today, okay? The publisher's always like, it's already on track to be a bestseller. I just announced it at 9:00 this morning. Right?
Congratulations.
So they're
Send me the link. Let me put that out too.
Right, it's a quick,
Let me
quick,
share
quick,
that.
right.
Well, you
it's
can
quick.
announce it right now.
Okay, yeah, so it's herchroniclesbook.com is the book. It's called Her Chronicles, Stories of Faith, Fear, and Fortitude, me and 10 other women. And so the fact that we did that, and it's like, okay, she's like, we're tracking this. We believe it's going to be a bestseller by the end of the day just from your Periscope stuff, right? And so it's just the speed of the turnover and the turnaround is so much faster because the trust is
So the
built so much
consumer
faster.
engagement is quicker.
Much quicker, much quicker, much quicker. Not just the engagement is quicker, but the getting them to buy and show the action, call to action.
Now here's the
happens
question:
quicker.
on Periscope, can people put a link?
You can ask questions, but we're
So they just did it. So they
letting
can't put a link
do
up
what
in
she
the
does.
comments. Okay, they can't put a link up in the comments, but they just made it live. So your Periscope profile, the .com your profile, if you put the HTTP / on it, then it'll be live when people see it on the web, or they can click on it from your profile, but not actually in Periscope.
But on the profile, they can.
It does, but there's a workaround. So for example, I create a lot of what I call short URLs, right? And so instead of saying go to jstone.com / Periscope, go to scopewithj.com. I redirect a lot of things, so it's just a quick go to scopewithj.com, go to brunchwithj.com, right? And so that's the workaround, is giving them that redirected URL that puts them where I need them to be. That's the workaround for that. What else you got?
How can somebody make money with Periscope?
Oh, that's my specialty. So I'm going to tell you real quickly how I made $7,000 in 10 days on Periscope. Okay.
Take notes.
Hold
Take notes. Take notes.
Wait, let me turn my laptop.
$7,000 in how many days?
10.
Mother's here,
10
and I
days.
am writing.
10 days.
Mothers, get your children.
Mothers, get your children.
You know what? I'm gonna record
Student
this
loans.
so I can record it. I'm gonna
Y'all
record
want
this. I'm not
seed
even gonna take
money?
I got
notes.
this mortgage.
Record.
Listen, y'all ready? We're ready. And remember, we're just flies on the wall.
Go.
Please tell. That's what CC. So somebody said, say hey now, say what? I'm here for that too. But make sure y'all share, because sharing is caring, and karma comes back to you.
Okay. And I'm actually because I've done this, I'm actually creating a program to train people how to do it. Because so the biggest thing is, okay, so no tea, no shade, but you guys, if you don't follow me, you will, because I'm very transparent. So my daily rate, if you want to work with me for a full day, is $3,500. Okay, $3,500 for a full day. So my thing was, everybody can afford that. No, let's not pretend that everybody's balling like that. They're not. Okay, and I'm aware of that. So if you are a community builder, you are to serve the community. It can't be just about you getting rich. And so I went to my accountant and I was saying, how do we make this affordable? She said, okay, take that $3,500. Let's divide it down, and we divided it down to 12, right? 12 people. You can work with 12 people for $297. Most people can find $297 somewhere, right? So that $297, we booked 12 people at $297. Those tickets sold out. 12 people bought tickets, right? So that's 35 something, 35 and some change. But what happened is one of those people emailed me and says, I think I need something bigger, right? So I talked to her on the phone, and she converted on the phone from a $297 ticket to a $3,500 VIP day, right? So that doubled the profits right there, because sometimes this is the relationship part. You got to pick up the phone and talk to people and be clear about their needs and how you can service them. So I just doubled that because of the conversion. So everybody don't want, even though some people only got $297, some people are paying $297. They have the money, right? But you don't know that. You don't know that sitting on the other side of Periscope. So you don't.
Money
People
is
who
out
look
here.
like they don't have it are the ones who have it, right?
Absolutely.
So I picked up the phone and called her
Jay,
and
you are
converted
teaching me
her.
today. All right, Connection
I
21.
converted that like that. So that was $7,000. I did that in 10 days. It was just like boom. I was like, okay. And people flew in from from Houston, D.C., okay, and
People were
Chicago.
based on your followers.
They were based on Periscope followers.
And so now they have to.
And
So now they.
How did they get to follow you on Periscope?
Okay, so
Were they
let's
following
so
you
let me
outside of
because there
Periscope?
is more to the process than just how I got the money. I just gave you the breakdown of where the money came in. So let me give you another tip. I did 83 scopes before I sold one thing. Okay, so I built value.
And what were you
I
doing
built
during
value.
scopes?
Hmm.
What were you
What I do? Okay, so I did them on branding and mostly brand strategies and tips and things like that. And
So you
then
gave away free
harded up.
advice.
I gave away free advice.
So like I don't want to use that example, but like the guys in the street dude gave away the sample, like
Yes.
and then people came back. and
Right,
bought.
exactly.
Similar to when you go when Dixie or the
Exactly,
grocery
that's the
store,
hustle.
Right.
give away the sample. Oh, this is sample of
Gave
food.
away the samples. Gave
And then
away the
come back and
samples.
buy. Got
But
it.
I did a lot of samples because I wasn't
A lot
sure.
of sampling.
Well, here's why. Because I wasn't sure what to do with Periscope. I wasn't sure who they were. They were different from my other followers. They're new. They're different. They didn't already know me, so I had to build a lot of value on Periscope first. Because unlike my Twitter followers and my Facebook followers, they know who I am. They're really, really clear. Okay, and so the Periscope people are new. So I had to build value with them first, and then I offered them something.
Credibility.
I build the credibility and the value with them first.
Now,
and then
did
I
your
sold.
Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter followers converge into Periscope followers?
So, half of them. About half of people like I follow you someplace else, but the other half of my followers are brand new.
So
They're
you also
brand new.
gain new friends. And
I gained new, but
followers.
here's what happens. I have seen, since I've been scoping, I have seen my numbers on every other social media platform climb, including my
Increase.
email list and my Facebook group. So my Facebook group, I started in March with 20 people. Okay, and
This
then,
March?
This March
Okay.
with 25 people. Okay, and then with Periscope, it started to average about 200 people a month joining my Facebook group. So now it's over 1,300 people.
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
you understand? And I only been on Periscope. You ready?
Yes.
Since like July.
July
Wow.
2015. July
Yes.
2015.
Yes.
I know.
Right.
Just to be clear.
Yeah, so July 2015. I only been on Periscope I might have made 60 something days now, maybe close to 90 days. But it ain't like I wasn't, because it wasn't available for Android. I'm an Android user. It was not available for Android. So that was it's a beast. It's a beast. The conversion rate is higher than any other platform I've ever seen, including
Live interaction.
my email list.
Live interaction.
It's higher than my email list. Yes.
Lex, you're getting a question asking about Jay on your scope.
Go ahead.
Because they don't know you yet.
Oh
so you're
yes, okay.
following.
So let's talk about that. Hey, boo. Okay, so my name is Jay Stone, Jai. I'm a master brand coach based in Atlanta, Georgia, and I help business owners create profitable businesses without compromising their quality of life. But what we're here for is I'm here in New York for the Periscope Summit. I was a panelist on the Periscope Summit here in New York. Met Sarita, the social media manager for Black Enterprise. She invited me to come over here, and then I met Lex. So I've been doing this for a long time. I've been in marketing and branding for 18 years.
Woo!
Yeah, been a business owner for 14 years. So I'm not new to building brands, building relationships, converting people. It's just always a different way to do it. Periscope is the new hottest way to do it.
So I'm getting my Periscope 101 instructions on from the master on how to do this and do it right. There it is.
Yeah.
Hit the like button though. It's the like button, right? Hit the like.
Hearts.
Hit the heart.
Sorry, the hearts.
Hearts. Okay, so let me tell you the last trick that I did. I got
She's leaving New York
1
today,
million hearts in
actually.
5 days. So hearts is the Periscope measuring system. It's like likes on
That's what's
Facebook.
about.
And so I got 1 million hearts in like 5 weeks. Okay, and so it was consistently figuring out what they want. But I told people, don't get so caught up in the hearts, because at the end of the day, it's about heartbeats. It's people on the other side, right? So how do you convert the people on the other side to be fans, to be followers? So here's what I'm saying: it's not just the people in the scope. They bought their friends. So at my brunch, they were like, yeah, one of my friends follows you on Periscope, and she's from New York. She sent 3 people to my brunch, right, from New York. So she didn't even come. It was the word of mouth, so it goes way more viral.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it goes way more viral.
Well, folks.
So it's the pass along rate. So it's not only the people that are watching us right now, but it's the pass along rate.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Can you, Jay, just tell us a little bit about when you guys do the Pass the Cast?
Yes. Okay, so Pass the Cast really is when you get a group of people on Periscope. And that group of people are connected in some way, whether it's a group, whether they're doing an event together, whether they are promoting an event specifically, okay? And those people take turns going on Periscope, right? And so one of them will start, they'll do a scope, they'll promote it, and then they'll pass it by saying, now, look at ABC. They're about to come on, they're going to tell you this. Everybody, let's jump over to their scope. And then people go and jump onto the other person's scope. And you can do that for several people. Usually it gets a little crazy after you do like 4 or 5. But what it does is every person gives a different perspective for why you should support a specific thing. It is excellent for cause marketing and event marketing. Okay, and it's excellent if you got specific things happening. Yeah, like your digital conference. You get all your speakers for the digital conference to do a Pass the Cast all at the same time, and then they're going to be talking about what they're going to be doing. Boom, more people are going to buy stuff because everybody isn't for everybody, right?
That's a pro tip.
That's a pro tip.
From,
everybody isn't for everybody.
Rachel right here.
Pro tip from J Stone.
We have a question from our audience.
Hi.
Our Director of Audience Development Engagement.
Hello. And this is for everyone in the room who are sort of the Periscope mavens at this point. What do you do, or what is your advice for someone who is really private, right? Because there's this really point of where you have to open yourself up to that. And in a place like Instagram or Twitter, again, we were talking behind the scenes where it's a little bit more controlled, right? Correct. Here you literally have to, you become vulnerable. So for someone who is more on the private side but wants to get out there, that's building a brand or maybe has a brand they want to sort of reshape, how do you go about letting yourself open yourself up to the Periscope audience?
I would just say,
Go ahead.
I would just say boundaries, just like business anywhere. You decide what your boundaries are. You decide what, where the line is, and you don't allow your audience to cross that. So on Periscope, you get trolls, right? And a troll doesn't necessarily mean just the people who don't know how to spell and get on and say show your boobs or start cursing or something like that. Sometimes trolls are hecklers, people who, and that's what a troll is, just they come in to disturb everything. Sometimes those people just need to be blocked. You're not playing by my rules. This is my house. This is what I want. You gotta go. And you block them and you move on. But you said it. Once you don't step over that line, or when they do, your audience won't step over the line. If they do step over that line and you check them and you say, hey, don't do that again, I'm not going there, that's not okay to ask me, I'm not answering those questions, they'll be fine. Remember, they're buying into or they're following you because they like you.
Right.
So they're okay with your privacy because that is you. If they're not, they won't be back. They'll go someplace where someone else is less private or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And yesterday at the mixer that we did, someone asked me something similar, and I said, she asked, what did she ask me? I forgot. But anyway, she asked me something similar about being private and going out there, and I just said, you just show what you want to show. That's it. And she asked me she said, you're so transparent. I said, one thing about me on Periscope, I'm transparent, but I don't disclose everything.
Right.
And that's how you
There's
have
a
to
difference.
be. Right. You can be transparent and authentic about what you choose to share, but you don't have to disclose everything. And I don't. And they don't ask. They don't ask. They're not interested. Yeah.
And who are you for those who may not know?
I want to know who you are. With the right answer. Aaron's amazing.
Thank you. My name is Tani Chambers, business and brand mentor, also known as the Mastermind Maven. I curate live experiences for women entrepreneurs, women solopreneurs to get the support, accountability, and of course, build brand and profit in their business.
And where can they find you on Periscope?
Oh, at Tani Chambers, and across all media platforms at Tani Chambers. That's my name. That's T as in Tom, Apple, Nancy, I, Chambers, like the street here in New York. So.
All right, and Jay, were you going to add to that?
I am going to add to that. And so, people
Tani
was like,
Chambers.
Tani Chambers, right? So, that is Tani, right? And so, to add to that, don't confuse. For me, I'm more about being personal than private. Don't confuse personal and private. Certain things are still private. I'm not going to put pictures of my boo on Periscope and on my social media.
Man.
I know, right?
Hey, boo.
Exactly. Your boo, right? She ain't so much of a peach now.
That peach done got spoiled.
Okay, so I'm not going to do that because he didn't sign up for it, right? I signed up for that, right? So I'm not going to put that on black. And so for my family, my friends, it was like, I don't want to be on Facebook. So don't confuse. There, like Tony said, there's boundaries. Don't confuse being personal with being private. What's going on with me as a person, giving that transparency for personal, is not me telling you about privacy issues. So I'm just telling you who I am as a person. That doesn't mean what my life is totally and completely belongs to you. I don't have that obligation to you. And so I share as much as I'm comfortable with. Okay.
Oh, and like on Periscope, just a side note, Periscope has the option, the location, where it will pinpoint basically your direct location up to like maybe 6 blocks. Like that's how personal. A lot of people let that go. I never have that on when I'm home. I mean, like if I scope from here, I'll do it because I'm at a public place, but I never. And a lot of people actually do it. That's a boundary for me. That's a line crossing for me because I don't, and people ask me where I live, and I say, I live in Brooklyn, New York. They'll ask me where they go. I live in East Flatbush. I grew up there, whatever. But that's it. I'm not going to be like, here's my blocks, and Periscope shouldn't give it either. So that's also a line of boundaries. And there are other scopers out there who don't care. They put it out there. They're like, you can see where I'm at. Here's my location.
I think that in today's day and age of what's going on, it's very important for people not to forget that, like you said, there's weirdos out there. There's some weirdos out there. I'll put it just like that.
Yeah.
You should never compromise your safety. I will put my location, this geo-tracking on your phone. When you take pictures nowadays, every picture you take is the geo-track, where you took it, the date you took it, and where in the date you took it is geo-track on every picture. When you post on Instagram, there's also a geo-track. When you're on Periscope, it's geo-tracking. So for myself, I only geo-track when I'm traveling. I'm in Miami, I'm in Florida, the geo-track comes off. If you look on my Instagram and look at all the locations, you just see me touring all over the world, but you never see anything in Miami unless it's South Beach. It's a public place. And I think for Periscope, it's very important that, like, I'm new to Periscope. We also realize the same thing. Do not put your geo-tracking on unless you're, like I said, at a public place.
Nice. Any other quick tips, any Periscope hacks that you've discovered since you've been using it? Any of you?
I started today.
You started today. And
Today's my first day.
And where can they find Lex on Periscope?
Let's find that. Tell them where.
Mine should be, what is it?
It's hooked up to your Twitter.
Oh, it's hooked up to my Twitter. So Lex Pierre Lewis on Twitter. I have Periscope on everybody else's. And I've never really engaged on mine. So today's my first day engaging on mine.
So I just want to be clear that we Thomas's Perry.
Yes.
And what a wonderful group for it.
It's my specialty.
I would just say with tips, just be intentional.
Just be intentional.
Always be intentional. Like that, you should be intentional in every part of your life. That's just how I live. But when you get on Periscope, I think a lot of, and I did this, a lot of the mistakes were, actually I didn't do it when I did Midnight Masterminds, but a lot of the mistakes people make is they just go on and they say, well, I want to see how this thing is working, right? And I go, okay, but we know the first impression rule, right? So you don't have to be perfect, but what I'm saying is be intentional. You don't even have to use Periscope if it's not for you. If you know who your audience is and understand who your audience is, I would say, one, do get on Periscope, do try it out. But when you get on there, know what you're coming to Periscope about. Know what you're willing to offer, what you want to offer that audience. and then decide if it's for you or not. If it's not for you, and if it's not, when I say not for you, because it's not about you, if it's not for your audience, it's not working, then you don't have to be there.
Right.
You know, maybe Twitter or Facebook is better for you. That's okay. You don't have to be on Periscope because everyone's on Periscope. But be intentional. Know what your goals are. When I went on Periscope, I said, let me see if this will work out for me. And it has worked out for me, so I'm staying. But if it didn't work out for me, we don't need another social media platform to manage. So be intentional.
The last tip that I have is while I'm very strategic about being intentional, I love that. I mean, I'm so strategic, really. But I also have fun. A lot of people were like, I didn't know that you were so much fun because I was scoping the taxi ride, right? And I was talking about the people and the taxi drivers and the food and the stuff. They were like, oh my God, you are such a nut, right? And it gave them another dimension to my personality. So enjoy it, have fun. It really can be fun.
Now let me ask you a question. There's some people.
So I don't have a real bull.
Here's my next question. That's over. You don't turn.
I tried it.
Not an organic relationship.
I know. It didn't help me bring a look out.
The relationship is gone.
You know how these BE modern men are.
Here's my question. You have some people who they don't put a persona out there, but when they're out in the business field, they comport one way. When they're in their personal life, they comport a different way. The behavior, the attitude, the mannerism is different. So how does someone like that, who's on Periscope, how do they balance the two? Because their followers are going to be corporate clients, and their followers are going to be friends from Montreal. Shout out to Montreal. So how does that work?
And so I think that my experience has been my corporate clients who I'm really different. Okay, in my corporate boardroom environment, not quite as polished. I think that for me, I had to figure out a way to mesh the two, where you see a little bit of me as a person, like this is how I hang out in New York as a taxi, but then on the flip side, I can't ever get so out of character that it'll affect my corporate relationship. So one of the biggest things that I tell people, if you wouldn't put it on a billboard in Times Square, don't put it on your social media. That's because you're always on. You are always on. You can never be like, yo, I'm chilling, right, about to jump in the shower, I ain't got no shirt on. You can never be that relaxed because you're always on. You're always on. So even if you're at home, you can't be completely out of character. You just can't. Because as entrepreneurs, you are always on. So, I'm going to go to Times Square. I can't wait to go to Times Square.
So with that being said, Periscope, to me, for certain people that are in the media outlet, news anchors, TV reporters, sports agent, or media outlets, radio personalities, Periscope kind of works, to me, better for them. But when you're an entrepreneur, a small business owner, you have to kind of play a balance.
No, I mean, I think it works better for us, actually. Because I think that for us, the transparency is the selling point. The transparency is the selling point. So for me, just scoping the taxi ride, you understand what I'm saying? Just scoping the taxi ride gave people another level up to my personality. So it wasn't like I was at home saying, I'm about to watch a movie and curl up in the bed. It wasn't that kind of transparency, right? Even though I do that, right? So it wasn't that level of transparency. It was a different level of transparency. So for you specifically, your transparency may have been, look, I'm about to go here. I'm going to a meeting at Black Enterprise. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to scope a little bit before I get in here. I'll tell you guys after. These are the kind of moves I'm making. You're giving them a peek into your life, okay? Not necessarily a peek into your personal stuff. And that's a difference. So that's a boundary, right? I'm going home for Christmas, right? This is my mom, we're going to eat here. And then shut it off. They don't need to see what the Christmas presents look like. They don't need to see your mom's house. You know what I mean? It's just giving them a peek to the fact that there's another dimension to it.
Choice gifts.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely.
Well, guys, there you have it. We pop back on for a little behind the scenes Periscope 101 with Jay Stone and Lex Pierre Louise. Make sure you guys watch this replay. It'll be up immediately on Periscope, also on Catch. And like we said, Black Enterprise is everywhere you are and everywhere you want to be. Don't forget our Tech Connect Summit is next week, and we are going to see.
Where is the Tech Connect Summit again?
It is in Silicon Valley. Black Enterprise is planting their flag in Silicon Valley. So if you are ready to make a big tech move, get some money for your product, just learn about.
How can they get tickets?
Oh, they can go to blackenterprise.com/events/TCS. And learn more about our speakers, see our agenda. It is going to be an absolutely wonderful conference, and we are very, very, very excited to be coming to Silicon Valley. We appreciate all the hearts, all the loves, all the amazing questions. You know you can follow both of these awesome people. Jay, where can they find you at?
JAISTONE, jstone.com. And JStone on all my social media.
Yes, and Lex, where can they find you at? And also your new Periscope.
LexPromotions.com, and all across the board, social media, it's LEXPromotions.com.
All right, guys. Well, we are signing off. We hope you enjoyed our BE Bizscope today. Behind the scenes as well. We couldn't stop. It was just awesome. And all of our lovely guests today.
The panel.
Courtney. All right, the focus group. All right, guys, we're signing off.